Clucking greetings, my little night owls in the nest. This next story comes from a viewer who said they weren't sure if they were going crazy or if their house was. Either way, the walls were talking and they weren't saying anything nice. Get cozy, lock your coop, and don't lean too close to the drywall because this is Hen House Files. Hey, Hen House. I never thought I'd be writing into a horror channel. I've always loved scary stories, but I never believed in them. I used to watch your videos at night alone in bed with the lights off. I liked the thrill of it, but nothing prepares you for it when the fear follows you after the video ends, when you start living it. I hope this helps someone else recognize the signs, because I almost didn't make it out. My name is Jenna, and I moved into this little duplex on the outskirts of Pittsburgh back in January. I'm a freelance editor, so I work from home. Quiet spaces help me focus, and the house was perfect. 2 bedrooms, old hardwood floors, built in the 1940s, and most importantly, no shared walls. The other half of the duplex had been vacant for years, according to my landlord. Apparently he used it for storage, but no one lived there. That sounded good to me. No loud neighbors, no random noises, just peace. Or so I thought. It started about 2 weeks after I moved in. I'd be lying in bed late at night, around 2 or 3 a.m., and I'd hear what I thought were mice. Like scratchy little scuttles inside the walls. I shrugged it off. Old house, right? Probably nothing. I left a note for my landlord, and he said he'd send an exterminator. But the sounds kept happening, and then they changed. It wasn't scratching anymore. It became tapping. Slow, methodical tapping. Always in sets of 3. Tap, tap, tap. It moved along the walls, starting in the living room, then closer to the kitchen, then finally stopping right next to my bed. The first time I heard it right beside me, I sat bolt upright, heart racing. I turned on the lamp. Nothing. But when I pressed my ear to the wall, I didn't hear mice. I heard whispers, not voices, not words I could fully understand. Just the sound of someone breathing, very softly, and muttering, like their mouth was right on the other side of the plaster. The only thing I caught clearly was, "You shouldn't be here." I fell backward off the bed. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I convinced myself it was a dream, that I must have been half asleep, hearing things. But deep down, I knew I wasn't. That weekend, I had a friend named Chloe stay over. I didn't tell her anything. I didn't want to sound paranoid. But at 3:17 a.m., I was shaken awake by her hand on my shoulder. "Jenna," she whispered, "someone's walking around your kitchen." I froze. We sat in silence. And then we both heard it. Footsteps, creaking across the hardwood floor. Slow, heavy. They stopped just outside my bedroom door. Then came the tapping. Tap, tap, tap. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. And then the doorknob turned. Chloe screamed. I grabbed my phone, but it was black. Dead? I swear I charged it before bed. We huddled together, whispering prayers, until sunrise. When we finally opened the door, there was no one there, but the chairs in the kitchen had been rearranged in a perfect circle. That was the first time I considered leaving. But curiosity and stubbornness got the better of me. I started investigating the house. I wanted to know what was making those noises. I started with the wall where I heard the whispers. I peeled back the wallpaper and pried open the drywall. And behind it was a space, a narrow, hidden cavity. Inside that cavity was a mirror, a dirty, cracked mirror facing inward toward the interior of the wall. Behind the mirror was an opening, like a crawl space, just big enough for someone to slide through. And on the back of the mirror, in what looked like rust-colored fingerprints, were the words, "I see you too." After that, things escalated. Appliances would turn on by themselves. The stove would beep at 2 a.m. Lights flickered even with new bulbs. Cold spots moved through the house like invisible people. But worst of all, the voice came back. Only now, it wasn't whispering through the walls. It was whispering from behind me. I'd be working on my laptop, and I'd feel hot breath on my neck, followed by that same voice, calm, but menacing. You shouldn't be here. I started losing time. I'd wake up in the bathtub, fully clothed. My groceries would disappear. One morning, I found every single mirror in the house smashed, and in their shards, smeared in lipstick. Go before the hollow takes you. I asked my landlord about the other unit. He got strangely quiet. After some pushing, he admitted someone used to live there, a man named Stephen Holt. He was a shut-in, rarely left the house. One day, the neighbors complained about the smell. They found him dead, inside the walls. He'd carved holes throughout the duplex to crawl through and watch. They said he spoke to the house. It had taken them weeks to find all the hidden passageways. I didn't sleep that night. At 2:37 a.m., I woke up to scratching, louder than ever. It was coming from inside my closet. I grabbed a flashlight, shaking. I opened the closet door. Inside, there was a large crack in the plaster near the floorboards. And then, something looked back at me. A pale eye, bloodshot, staring. I screamed and ran. The last thing I saw before I slammed the door shut was a hand, gray and bony, reaching out through the crack. I stayed in a hotel for the next week. The landlord didn't believe me. I didn't care. I hired a moving company and broke the lease. But before I left for good, I went back for one last look. The walls had been patched. Everything looked normal. But written in tiny, scratchy handwriting all along the baseboards was a single phrase repeated dozens of times. The hollow sees. The hollow feeds. The hollow needs new walls. I haven't had an experience like that since. But I still get the occasional phone call from a blocked number. When I answer, there's just breathing on the line. And then, a voice. You shouldn't be here. Q. That one was extremely unsettling. I don't know about you, but I'm about to go peek around the house and make sure all my walls are solid. Remember, if you start hearing voices in the drywall, it might be time to fly the co-op. And if you've got a story that'll ruffle some feathers, send it our way. Until next time, stay spooky, stay safe, and keep your beak out of haunted basements. This is Hen House Files.